count on our servicemen and women. When they or their families face medical challenges, where do they turn? Fisher House provides a home away from home at their toughest time. Ease their burden. Go to fisherhouse.org to find out how. We count on them. Can they count on us?
We are so happy to be joined by Ken Fisher, a senior partner at Fisher Brothers, one of New York City's biggest real estate firms. He's also a dedicated philanthropist devoted to helping veterans as chairman of the Fisher House Foundation. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
First off, tell us what the Fisher House Foundation does.
Fisher House Foundation provides lodging, a home away from home, for families of those who have been wounded in service to this nation or even become sick in service to this nation for no charge for as long as they need to be in the hospital. So a family can stay, we've had families stay for months, we've had families stay for a year or more. So it's about taking the families who sacrifice so much when the burden only grows if they're wounded or they're hospitalized. And what we do is we seek to honor the sacrifices by easing their burden.
And it's a really underappreciated need. People don't realize that these military families are not necessarily taken care of if they have a wounded family member.
Most Americans have no idea about the sacrifices that are made by military families. We know about the serviceman or woman, of course, but we don't know about the families. And when something like this happens, the families are the need, the burdens and so forth, bills keep coming, children need to be raised. These things go on. The world doesn't stop. And what we do is since we offer no charge, the foundation is there for them. 95% of those who are wounded on the battlefield are surviving wounds that would have been fatal in previous conflicts. But the hospitalization, the need will keep going. So we will be there for not only for the current hospitalized serviceman or woman, but also for the veteran as well.
How many families have you been able to help, and how far-reaching is this?
Right now, we are accommodating almost 35,000 families a year, and that's going to continue to grow as we continue to grow. We've estimated that we've saved these families almost $200 million in total lodging and travel expenses. They're all within walking distance of the hospitals.
One of the things that's so notable about your organization is that you run a very tight ship. You always have very high charity ratings, and the money really goes to these houses. How do you make that happen?
Well, I think first of all, the construction is a family skill set. So, you know, we've been developing buildings, both residential and commercial, I think since 1915. So in the construction arena, we know what we're doing. So we know how we can save, cut costs without sacrificing quality. But you know, when you think about the foundation as a whole, when I took over back in, I think it was 2002, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to make it a business. I wanted to run it like a for-profit. I wanted to make sure that every dollar could be accounted for. So that if somebody called up and said, look, you know what, I'm curious, what happened to my donation? I can tell them, take a ride to Tripler in Hawaii, or take a ride to Walter Reed, and look and see what we've done with it.
So where does the money come from?
We get a small percentage from the government. We are one of three in the Defense Appropriations Bill. We're fighting, you know, to stay there. And the balance comes from the American people, aside from obviously what my family puts in and so forth. We're very dependent on the generosity of American people. And I think that given what's happened and given the wave of support that these men and women are enjoying, you know, again, at the expense of those who fought in Vietnam and Korea, the American people have been very supportive towards foundations like ours that have tangible results. And it's reflective in the fact that we now have 62 houses. We're building 2 more are set to open within the next 6 months. And then we're going to start 4 more next year.
You bring your business expertise to the table, but this is also very personal for you, right?
Well, you know, I never served the nation. I never served this nation in uniform. So, you know, in a way, this is my way of serving, is to support these men and women, I don't think that there's any greater privilege that a person can have than to make a difference in the lives of people, and it's only 1 or 2% of this population that have volunteered to put on a uniform and go defend this nation. You know, when they get wounded, they become America's families. So, you know, Fisher House is not just about providing the lodging and the other services that we do, but we're also about bringing the plight of the veteran to light. Not just the veteran, but the veteran's family as well.
It really is something to be proud of. Such an impressive and vital contribution. Ken Fisher of the Fisher House, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.